North Carolina preview. Obviously, they brought in Bill Belichick, the biggest move in the offseason, bringing probably and arguably the greatest coach of all time in the NFL to their program. They went out and got some key pieces like Gio Lopez from South Alabama. They did bring in six senior offensive linemen from the transfer portal. They bring in Steve Belichick, who led the number 2 passing yards allowed secondary in the country a year ago at Washington. Joe, when you look at the University of North Carolina and you look at their season upcoming with Bill Belichick, how in the world do you make and what do you make of this 2025 season?
I've been shocked by some people trying to be bullish about this North Carolina team. I think that there's one driving force to believe that this team has some success, and I'm going to define what that success means in a second, but they have the second easiest schedule in terms of opponent win percentage in the ACC. So they have a huge advantage there. As soon as Bill Belichick took the job, we looked through their schedule. They are not facing any challenges really outside of Clemson and Syracuse. They got the whole back end of the ACC. So they're, just to put this out there, there's a chance that you can kind of get a little bit of an Indiana situation here. The positive obviously comes from the fact that you are hiring the greatest coach in the NFL. Brilliant coach. He is going to find ways to get talent out of guys that we don't know anything about. But that's the problem, Blake. I don't know anything about this roster. Nothing. I don't know a damn thing. I know Gio Lopez was good at South Alabama. I know that Thaddeus Dixon was good at Washington. I know that Amari Campbell's gone. I know that Bo Atkinson's gone. I know that Zach Rice is gone. I know that the whole roster is all transfer add-ins. And what's the same thing that we've talked about every single time? Whenever there's a bunch of guys that are coming from the portal as the main lineup for the starting units on both sides of the ball, it's going to lead to problems at some point during the year. I am going to, and I just kind of alluded to this, I am not going to try and compare Indiana to what North Carolina can do this year, because the key difference that we're missing before anyone starts to project that and say that, and like maybe he can tap into it. We saw Curt Cignetti take his roster at JMU, a bunch of guys that he coached at JMU, and bring them to Indiana. This is one of the most unique things that we're ever going to see a coach do. I'm tired of people trying to create the next Indiana when it has been insanely unique. Bill stepping in with a bunch of kids that he just met with a weird offseason where everybody's talking about the 24-year-old that he's banging. Like,
he's 28, right?
She's 24.
Oh,
she's 24. Okay. She's younger than me. I'm just saying that there's a lot going on here. I think that we need to be prepared for this to just be a 6-win season, and that would be fantastic if that's what they accomplish.
Joe, I have no idea what to make of them. I saw Gio Lopez last year up close and personal. I think he's a good quarterback. I mean, South Alabama did some very unique things. I think he's a very unique player, deceptively strong for a little guy. I mean, listen, I say a little guy, but I mean, he's not big in stature, but I mean, he runs the football effectively. He does a lot of really good things effectively. Is it going to be him or Max Johnson? And I don't think that you're going to get an answer from Bill Belichick on it. We're on to Cincinnati. I really don't. So who's going to be the starting quarterback for them? How do they move? Joe, I have no idea what their offensive line is going to look like. They can say that they know, they don't know. You brought in 7 seniors from the portal. 7 on the offensive line. Joe, you're returning wide receiver from a year ago, didn't catch a touchdown last year. I just don't know offensively if you have any idea. None. I mean, one of, if not to some people, the best running back in the country, which I don't agree with, but one of the best running backs, especially in the ACC, does not return. Joe, do you have any clue what they're going to look like offensively? Because I don't. I do have an idea of what I think they'll look like defensively in the secondary based off of Steve being in college football a year ago. I do and would say I actually am a little bit bullish of them defensively. Even with all of the transfers that they have, Because, Joe, I literally saw a dude go into Washington and flip it from the 120s in a secondary to number 2 overall. So offensively, I just don't know what to make of them. They do have a lighter schedule, but, Joe, there's so many moving pieces on both sides of the ball that I just kind of put my hands up and say, man, we'll see. I don't know.
I think that like the uncertainty creates like a very wide range of outcomes in most cases, but I have to give Belichick credit that I don't think he's the type of coach for them to just go out there and be like a 3-win team. I really don't think that's going to happen. I think that he's brought all of his guys in. He brought his son. They're going to get something out of this squad.
I agree.
I think that we're kind of just generally used to seeing a big name coach like this step in and have an impact, but and also the everyone's going to expect them to win 9 games, especially with the schedule as easy as it is. But when you have to travel all the way to Cal, that could be a loss. Having to face off with Fran Brown at Syracuse could be a difficult game. Traveling to UCF, I don't even think that they're going to win week 1. I think that Josh Hoover and TCU is going to throw all over them. Josh Hoover's a great freaking player. I was blown away by his film when I broke him down for the 2026 class. He's a really underrated player.
Does Hoover have any idea what he's going to see from North Carolina defensively and what Belichick will throw at him, though?
He probably won't, but...
I mean, because you have no idea what they're going to do with Bill. None. It's like Patricia with Ohio State. What does Manning expect? I don't know, Joe.
But it's very different than that, because the different point about this is that in a late game situation, you get your ass on a bunch of guys that have never communicated with one another before to be able to rely on one another.
Okay, fair. Okay, very good point. Very fair. But the problem in that is Steve Belichick literally had the same exact situation a year ago, and it worked.
Well, but he still had guys coming back. And I just think that there's just so much more turnover than that Washington situation. I don't disagree, though, because he went and grabbed one of his best guys in Dixon to come with him from Washington. Good coaches are going to get something out of the team. I don't know if this is a ragtag group of random dudes and they duct taped a roster together, or is this an unheralded unit of guys that we don't know anything about that went unrecognized and they just stole a bunch of gems. This is why this preview is so hard, is because I have no idea what I'm latching onto. I can latch onto something.
I agree.
Most teams, I can't do that with North Carolina.
Well, let me just throw this your way, okay? And I don't want to overreact here in a lot of regards. However, when we look at Bill as a whole, okay, and people asking how they've been or how he's been, I look at the 2026 recruiting class, by the way, Joe, they might finish in the top 20, inside the top 20. As crazy as that sounds, Joe, they currently, right now are at 20th on 3. They have 30-plus kids that they have verbally committed. Bill has recruited his ass off. Give him credit. You're going to have to give him time, though. And I think that that's the biggest thing for me. They got a lot of top 300 kids, Joe, in their upcoming recruiting class. I think they're having to free agency this thing, put a big patch on it, see what happens, and go from there. But as we look at their schedule, Joe, I know you say it's easy, but I got to be real with you. I could see 4 or 5 losses on this schedule, though.
Well, right. So to read through it, they open at home against TCU. They go to Charlotte, which is really funny. They get Richmond at home, to UCF, bye week, Clemson at home, bye week, which is awful timing of bye weeks, at Cal versus UVA, at Syracuse versus Stanford, at Wake Forest versus Duke, at NC State. I don't think
they really early bye weeks.
Yeah, it's stupid. But the ones I think are automatic losses: Duke, Syracuse, TCU, and Clemson. And I think UCF is easy for us to kind of make that case for them to win that game.
I'm not going in on TCU. I'm not doing that because anything can happen.
You got to watch this Hoover kid, man.
Yeah, sounds good. I also don't think that any kid on planet Earth knows what Bill can throw at his ass either. I mean, they could easily win, but I just got to be real. I'm not marking that up. Bill, last time that we saw an NFL guy in week 1 go up against TCU, Sonny Dykes and them, when they had no idea what was going on, got their shit kicked in by Colorado. So I ain't doing that.
Yeah, but that was, I think that roster and the state of that roster for TCU was so much worse.
G4 quarterback, FCS quarterback coming in. You have no idea what's going to happen.
Hoover's going to lay dong all over this UNC team. I'm telling, I am big Hoover fan. I'm not going to let you talk.
Does
talk
Hoover
bad
have
about
his
Hoover.
number 1 receiver?
No,
Didn't
he's
Jack
2
Bass
guys.
Didn't Jack
Besh
Bass
and Savion Williams, Savion Williams both went to the league. They're going to be fine.
Give me North Carolina versus
No.
TCU.
I can't wait to do that preview if you're going to be talking all that.
Give me Bill Belichick. Let's go. All right. In all seriousness, Clemson, no. Syracuse, I'm going to no. A Friday night on Halloween and a team that you're playing wears orange? Hell no.
Yeah.
No, I don't have to break anything down. Joe Duke, you brought up Duke. What does Mensa look like? And what does Duke look like? I mean, let's give Manny Diaz a little bit of credit here. Bro, defensively, they weren't bad at all last year.
They got some dudes, too. I don't think that's going to be – I would take Duke 10 times out of 10. I'm not taking North Carolina in that situation. That team is going to be really underrated.
Yeah, we'll see.